We're going to be looking at 15 sneaky starts for week 1. And what we do is we go game by game, matchup by matchup, and look at the game script for this game. Look how this game could produce fantasy points, and then try to look at the wide receiver 2s, wide receiver 3s, even wide receiver 4s, the backup running backs, the tight ends, those guys that we're not looking at right now, that we're not starting, but could sneak away with some fantasy production. And we're going game by game, going over the matchups, seeing who could be that player that surprises us, and what could we do about that, and should we put them in our lineups? And we're going to talk about all that today. This is more for deeper leagues. This is also better for mid-season, where rosters are destroyed by injuries and the waiver wire is hotter than compared to the first couple weeks of the season. So you might want to hit that subscribe button right now so you can stop missing this information on setting your lineups. We also got the must start video that came out just a little bit ago, a few hours ago. Check that one out as well. But if you have questions on who to start or sit, drop them in the comments below, and I'm going to work all weekend trying to get to all of your replies, trying to help you out with your lineups. But let's go ahead, let's look at these matchups. Let's look for these sneaky starts. Our first game that we're looking at here, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. This is going to be a funny matchup here because we got a rookie quarterback at home, and then we got the Jacksonville Jaguars who can really push things on offense. So this could go crazy. This could be a slow-paced game. The turnovers could run rampant. Jaguars could just throw it all over the yard. The Colts could slow things down and make this a slower game. We got a 46.5 over-under here. Vegas is just trying to be in the middle, trying to figure out what's going on with this game script as well. And for our sneaky start here, we're looking at Tank Bigsby. We're just trying to guess, see what happens if Anthony Richardson just has those rookie blues and he has a couple turnovers. The Jacksonville Jaguars gets up and they're starting to move the football. They give Tank Bigsby a few goal line opportunities. Maybe he crosses the goal line. Something you're not seeing to happen. Something you're not predicting. Something that, you know what, when we look at the box score, he scores a touchdown, gets like 8 carries, 30 yards or whatever. You know what, he was productive, but we weren't seeing that happen. Also, in this game script that I got noted, Deion Jackson, if he's going to be the lead running back in this offense because they got some more injuries in this backfield, he's a guy you want to look at big time. And he's a sneaky start as well. He could really give you high-end production. He gave you high-end production last year against the Jaguars. This is a good game script for him, especially they're going to use him between the tackles. He's got the high-end athleticism. He's a guy you want to think about as well as a sneaky start. Going to our next matchup here, Bengals at the Browns. This one should be a high-impact game. They should be moving the ball all over the place. 47.5 over-under. It could be lower scoring as well, considering this is a divisional rival game. These teams know each other, and things just could be off the chain in this game. This one is a game that I'm paying attention to. Should be fun to watch. But looking at the spread here, it's expected to be tight. It could be a tight game. Again, fun game to watch. We're looking at Elijah Moore as our sneaky start. Wide receiver 55 in the rankings. Explosive game means that the ancillary players are going to be doing some stuff. He could be getting some targets downfield. They like to move him around the offense. This game could increase the pace, make this a high-scoring game for everybody involved. Elijah Moore could exceed expectations, catch a few balls downfield, cross the goal line. You never know what's going to happen, but we're expecting Amari Cooper to own target share, Donovan Peoples-Jones to be on the field as well, David Njoku getting targets, but Elijah Moore's a guy here that could sneak away. That's why it's a sneaky start video. Next, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Minnesota Vikings, and this game script could go off the rocker, and Minnesota Vikings could be just killing it in this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, especially if Baker Mayfield doesn't hit. He's also on the road. This is his first game with the team. Very interesting game script here. 45.5 over-under. Spread is indicating that the Vikings are going to be leading late in this game. They had the same spread last night, though, with the Chiefs and Lions, and the Chiefs lost, so that is what it is. But looking at this, Jordan Addison, Wide receiver 36 for the week. Rookie tight end with a lot of upside. First round draft pick. Fire game script. Should be on the field running routes. Should be getting snaps. Should be getting opportunity. A guy you want to look at. And if he's getting opportunity in a fire game script, that means there could be fantasy points to be had. Ranked as wide receiver 36 for the week. He should beat that number. He should beat that number if things go his way. Next, Tennessee Titans at the New Orleans Saints. So an interesting game script here. We got some injuries at the running back position. Kendre Miller's dealing with an injury. So that could impact the run game. Also could impact the pass game as well. They may sling it some more. Could be a slower pace game because the Titans just run things slow. Fourth slowest team in pace last year. Saints, though, can sling it downfield. You know Derek Carr's going to be looking for Chris Olave. He's going to be looking at some of these pass catchers. They're inside. They're in the dome. 42 over under. They might smash the over here. Really depends on how this game starts off. But for our sneaky play, our sleeper, Jamal Williams, RB18 for the week. Kendre Miller's dealing with a hamstring. Don't know if he'll be in or out, but that's what's in the news. Also, Rashid Shaheed's a guy you need to pay attention to because he's explosive, can own target share, he can score on any given week, and Juwan Johnson as a tight end. So we got a 3-pack here from the Saints here. But again, all sneaky players that could help you out in fantasy, especially in DFS. Basic redraft leagues, you just want to monitor the tea leaves. More than likely, week 1, you're not playing many sneaky starts here or sleepers. But mid-season, this is when you want to look at this and see what matchups you can exploit. Next, we got the Houston Texans on the road to the Baltimore Ravens. A rookie quarterback on the road, that could spell bad things. That could spell turnovers. That could spell good things for the Ravens offense. They could be having the ball more. They could be running it late. It also means there's a good chance that Texans could be in catch-up mode in the back half of the game, which means our sneaky start, Nico Collins, seeing deep balls late in the back half of the game. If he reels in a couple, you got a guy that could give you boom production. And that's why we chase the air yards. There's a chance he catches some air yards or sees some air yards later in the game. If this team does get behind, this could be a slower paced game as the Ravens run the ball. Texans keeping things slow so they don't really overstimulate Stroud here in his first game in the NFL. But again, Collins could be seeing deep targets in the back half of this game if the rookie Blues hits the young quarterback. Next, Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. 39.5 over under. I think there's a good chance they beat that. Panthers might be coming out a little bit slow because of another rookie quarterback on the road here. But the Falcons got some weapons here that you need to be interested in. But they got an old horse here, Mac Hollins. This is a wide receiver who's always been sneaky. He was in the sneaky start videos last year for the Raiders, and he's just a sneaky player, a sneaky wide receiver who can get downfield, huge catch radius, and just brings home targets. I wouldn't be surprised if he catches a few balls, some of them downfield, some maybe one in the end zone or something, but another sneaky player, wide receiver 84 in the rankings. However, it just takes a couple targets to go his way. They convert, maybe a little yak, maybe a touchdown, but still, Mac Hollins, done it before. He did it last year, maybe this year as well. Next, Arizona Cardinals at the Washington Commanders. Nobody wants this game. Nobody likes this game. 38 over under. Vegas is telling you stay away. But a sleeper, maybe Rondale Moore, wide receiver 72 for the week. Maybe he's living the dream with some short targets. Maybe he gets you a little bit of yards after the catch here. But we're looking for volume. We're looking for a sneaky play. People are looking at Marquise Brown. People are looking at Jahan Dotson. People are looking at the running backs on the Commanders. If you want somebody that could be a surprise, Rondale Moore. But honestly, we're not betting on this game. We're staying away from this game when it comes to fantasy production. You're just starting the guys that you know are going to touch the ball. Moore is not an advocate to start. It's a sleeper, but you got to pick somebody. Might as well pick Moore. Next, 49ers at the Steelers. And I think this game could go either way. This could be a nasty, slow game, or a very fun, explosive game. And I think it could because we got a lot of playmakers on both offenses. But also, I could see this being slower because we got some good running backs as well. You can really slow it down with the run game. They got 41.5 over under. They were being conservative with it. So Vegas kind of thinks that too. Because if they thought it was going to be an explosive game, they'd have it higher. The spread's pretty tight. It could be going back and forth. Christian McCaffrey could slow it down. A dual threat at running back for the Steelers could slow it down. They could run a little bit more. The Steelers are naturally a little bit slower in pace. This could be an interesting game. But Darnell Washington is a super sleeper here. I don't expect anybody starting him unless they're in a deep dynasty league, really. But Darnell Washington is going to be used around the goal line more than likely. That size adjusted athleticism is real. Really separates him from a lot of running backs, DBs, and you can't really get around him, and he'll separate from you with that speed. They're going to use him around the goal line. If he gets a goal line target, he's more than likely going to bring it in because he has good body control and good ball skills. If he gets a touchdown, all he has to do is catch one ball for a touchdown for 1 yard. That's 7 fantasy points. That's just a few points away from being a tight end 1. That's how bad tight ends are from week to week. You score 7 fantasy points, you're like tight end 13, 14, 15 for the week. So if Darnell Washington catches 2 balls, one of them is a touchdown, you're getting solid production. Next, we got the Eagles at the Patriots, 45 over under. We got a tight spread, but anything could happen in this matchup. I'm expecting it to be a slower paced game due to Mac Jones and company, but the Eagles can really push it as well. So, our sneaky star, Ezekiel Elliott. So, if something happens around the goal line, they switch out the running backs. Maybe he gets a goal line carrier or 2. Maybe he gets a couple targets. Maybe he can sneak into fantasy relevancy. Maybe they're switching out the running backs because they do not have much at running back. They do have Ramondre Stevenson. We expect them to use Ramondre Stevenson a ton, but he can't be on all the snaps. He can't get all the carries. Zeke's going to get some. Where are they going to be at? Where would you use Zeke at the most? You would use him short yardage, goal line, and pass protection. You can't always use him in pass protection, so you're going to wheel him out on some routes. And at the goal line, chances are you could get a touchdown. You might fall in the end zone and catch you some fantasy points. Next, Packers at the Bears. Low volume game looking like here with a 42 over under, but the game script could break here as the Bears likes to run at a slower pace. The Packers could be too, but they could up the pace as well. We got to see how they transition from Rodgers to Love. Traditionally, they're a slower pace team with Rodgers, and Love's a newer quarterback here that we got to see how they want to work the offense with. It may be a little faster. They may throw it a little deeper. Who knows? But we're going to have to watch this pace. The over-under is pretty interesting here. But our sneaky player here is Jaden Reed, Justin Watson, Romeo Dowds, both hurt right now. Are they going to play? We don't know. Jaden Reed might be a natural start for you in some of your leagues. He might be. He's a tremendous rookie wide receiver drafted in the second round, broke out with 2 different collegiate programs, who has a very solid highlight tape from college. Good ball skills already working in with the first team offense. Fantasy-wise, though, you got to see what the volume looks like. They can slow it down. They got 2 good running backs. But again, a cheap wide receiver here that has a ton of upside. Did a video on him the other day. Check that out. But I like Jaden Reed. Next, LA Rams at the Seattle Seahawks. We got a 46 over under. Seattle should really roll in this game. The Rams are out Cooper Kupp. But we're going to look at Zach Charbonnet here. Kenneth Walker's hurt. We caught that news. Charbonnet, RB38 for the week in the rankings. We're going to watch him, see what he does. Might be getting some opportunity. But also Van Jefferson for the Rams. Whenever he gets 20% target share or more, he gives you 20 plus fantasy points. This only happened like 2 or 3 times on his career. But Kupp's out of the lineup. Who's going to get the targets? Maybe it's Van Jefferson. We don't rely on him. He's like an average NFL wide receiver who doesn't score in fantasy. But we do have opportunity in this game. Also, the Rams are going to have to push it with Seattle because they got some hosses there. They got some wide receivers that can push it downfield. So their offense is going to be moving, which means the Rams are going to have to move it. So this could be a higher scoring game than expected. Zach Charbonnet could be running it in the back half of the game as they close it out. Could be seeing some opportunity for both these players. Next, Miami Dolphins at the LA Chargers. You're starting everybody in this game. Even the ancillary jabronis, really, if you're in a deep league. We got 51 over under. Vegas is saying start everybody because this is going to be high scoring. This is the game to watch. You want to watch this one. It's going to be very sunny. You got bright colors here. The spread is tight. This is going to be a fun one here. Let's go with Gerald Everett. Here. Tight end 14 for the week. Tight end 2 in the rankings. But he's going to be out there running routes. He's going to run more routes than most tight ends that are ranked higher than him. And this is going to be an explosive game. Could catch a touchdown. Could see some targets. You're starting everybody in this game. Gerald Everett might be a traditional start for you this week. Next, Raiders at the Broncos. Might be a slower paced game as the Broncos don't have Jerry Jeudy, but the Raiders offense per PFF lacking at the DB spot. So we might be seeing some Marvin Mims action here, especially with the deep balls. If you reel in one 50-yard catch, that's 6 points. We saw that in his last preseason game. And if he reels in a couple catches, could be a big week. We're chasing air yards here. We're chasing the opportunity here. The Broncos invested in the offensive line. Could be a prime spot for a breakout for Marvin Mims. Next, the Cowboys at the New York Giants, 46 over under. This is probably going to be one of the funnest games of the week here, and we're all going to be paying attention to this one. It could be nasty, slow, but a tough, hard-hitting game, or high-flying, scoring out the wazoo. But Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins, deep balls, volume in the passing game. Both guys have been off and on with production per fantasy-wise. I could see either one of these guys having a good week and sneaking some production. Next, last but not least, Bills at the Jets. 45.5 over under. Aaron Rodgers' first game with the Jets. The Bills like to push the pace. This could be a fun one as the game script could break in this one and go crazy, or it could be a little bit slow because Rodgers likes to be a little bit slow. So how this game starts off is going to really impact the fantasy stats in this game. But Khalil Shakir, he's a breakout candidate for a lot of people, and he's a deep threat, a deep guy on the roster. And when you got a wide receiver out there just running some routes, getting some snaps, all he has to do is reel in a couple deep ball attempts, bring in a couple catches. He's ranked at wide receiver 26 for the week. It's not like we have expectations for him, but these are sneaky starts. These are players that we're not expecting to hit, that could hit due to the game script blowing out. Look for Khalil Shakir here, a breakout candidate that a lot of people have been talking about but have been forgetting about as well. So those are 15 sneaky starts. We also got our must starts in the video prior that just came out a few hours ago. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you drop your start sit questions in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button. Stop missing out. Catch you on the next video.